Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute, hasn't it? I've been hiding. But look at you. You've done it. You've found the champ dog. Congratulations. It's real good to be back with you guys. I was having a blast getting into the new set, playing some decks, playing a lot of the same deck. I played a few games of Sealed. I played some Draft off camera, but I sort of hit a wall towards the end of last week. I wasn't able to play as much as I wanted to. Wasn't really able to record. But we're back. Been playing a bit off camera. I've had a really good run with the deck I'm going to share with you guys today. So fingers crossed that will hold up. It would be just my luck to have a bad losing streak when I go on camera. But we'll see. We'll see. I've had as I said, had a blast with it. I've been winning games, climbing the ladder. But we'll get into that. First, there's something we can do that'll just make the world a slightly better place, make our lives a little bit better. Just share a moment where we can come together, share a common interest, something that will just breed a little bit of unity, give us a little moment of beauty in our day, a moment to stop, reflect, refresh, and energize. Of course, I'm talking about coffee. Here's to you guys. Delicious. You notice the synchronized sip seems to get just a little bit better every time we do it, and you just seem to get a little bit more attractive every time. I think it's better. If you're not drinking along at home, like, that's your loss. I really would encourage you to just have a mug of coffee, tea, water, whatever you like to drink. Just have something on hand, and we can all just have a little moment at the start of the videos and just bring a little joy to our lives. If you can't tell, I'm pretty happy to be back. I hope you guys have been well. I've been good. It's good to be here. I'm happy to see you all. But you guys came here to see some magic. So let's jump on into the arena and I'll show you what we're playing today. We are playing some MonoBlack Midrange. Now, some of you will argue this should be called Control. I've seen a lot of people online saying this is MonoBlack Control, and it definitely is a controlling shell. But I think we really got to call it Midrange. It's got some, sacrifice synergies. It's got some control elements. It's got some mid-range elements, but I think overall, you got to say it's a mid-range deck. So the core of this deck might be quite familiar to a lot of you guys, and I'll just put that all together so you can see what I'm talking about. That is this package here: Eye Twitch, Shambling Ghast, Deadly Dispute, Skullport Merchant, Lolth, Professor Onyx, Blood on the Snow, Snowlands. That's the core package of this deck. You've seen it in the Ores of Blood Money decks in Standard 2022. And this, since rotation, has been in Golgari decks. It's been Black-Red decks. It's been in Rakdos decks. It's been in Mono-Black decks, like this one here. So that's what we're rolling with. It's similar sort of game plan. Grind out, play some early blockers, sacrifice them if you can, do a little bit of ramp, clear the board again and again, getting back your creatures or preferably your expensive planeswalkers, and just try to grind the game out that way. There's some variations list to list on some of these things, like some don't run Onyx, some run 4 Lolth, some run 3 or 2 Skullport Merchants, etc., etc. But the core package is pretty similar, so I'm not going to go into it too much. That's what this deck is. It's a grindy mono-black mid-range deck. Let's look at our flex spots, because that's kind of all there is to talk about since this package is so well known. We've got Soul Shatter. Answers Goldspan Dragon really nicely, but there are also some important planeswalkers still in the format. There's Ren, there's opposing Onyxes, etc. And this does a good job of dealing with them, because otherwise the planeswalker removal in the format it's not great. Let's be real. 2 Infernal Grasp, because I think you need some targeted removal as well. Not being able to target something can be really tilting. Sometimes you really want to take out that Esika's Chariot, but they have the Ren, or, for whatever reason. Sometimes you need to take out something specific. This gets the job done. Meathook Massacre, pet card. I think it goes really well in this deck as just another sweeper, another way to clear the board and still get value, be that life gain or pings. But it also plays really nicely into your strategy of sacrificing your cheap creatures, clearing the board, bringing things back, etc., etc. Just gets you like pings, gets you a bit of life gain, which can really help in the aggro matchups. it's pretty helpful. Tainted Adversary. Now that's this is sort of my own little take on this. I really like this card. Early game, 2 mana 2/3 with Death Touch. Nothing wrong with that. Blocks really well as well against some of the green decks that are playing like Essika's Chariot, the Ren and 7 tokens. This is really nice against those. Can just be a real brick wall. Later in the game, bang, slap it down, bunch of decay triggers, attack, more pings off Meathook Massacre. If you bring this back late game with a Blood on the Snow and you have enough mana, enters the battlefield, you can slap that down if you don't have your Planeswalkers. It kind of fits what the deck is doing, but, you know, this is a flex slot. Other than that, Snowlands, obviously. We've got a single hive of the Eye Tyrant, 2 Faceless Havens. I only have the 1 hive, didn't want to craft more. Faceless Havens. Now, you probably should have more man lands than this, but I'm running 26 lands at the moment. I don't want to go less than that. And I think running a couple Field of Ruins when you're playing, especially a monocolor deck, but also even a 2-color deck, I think that can be really advantageous in this format. There's so many man lands running around, and in mono black particularly, like, ours don't scale up as well as like a Lair of the Hydra, Hall of the Storm Giants. You know, theirs are just bigger than ours. We do have Infernal Grasp that can hit things sometimes, but Hall of the Storm Giants also has the ward. So just having Field of Ruin is really nice. There are still the occasional decks running around with no basics in them, so you can really punish things. But yeah, familiar sort of core of the deck. That's our little take on it. Let's take a look at the sideboard. We've got 3 Skyclave Shade. It's a really good card. I think it's back on the menu in the new format. Really good against single target removal, some of the control decks. Obviously gets brick walled in mid-range. It's not really helpful against like aggro decks, but in like grindy matchups like the Mirror or in any sort of control list, this can put in some real work. We've got a small learn board. We've got a single Environmental Sciences. We're running 26 lands. We really shouldn't need more. And we've got the treasure ramp thing. Single Necrotic Fumes. Sometimes you just need to get rid of something. I would rather have access to this than not, but you could possibly also put in Containment Breach in this slot. Single Mascot Exhibition. I just think if you're running loan cards, you should have access to this. And a single Confront the Past to get rid of to bring back a Professor Onyx or a Loth, or sometimes get rid of an opposing Planeswalker. Couple of Bloodchief's Thirst. Really nice removal spell. It's great against aggro because it's cheap. It's good against tokens, and when you need it to be flexible, it can be flexible. It's Bloodchief's Thirst, guys. It's a decent card. Duress. Playing around with this. Haven't loved it in my games that I've played before I started recording. Haven't loved it, haven't hated it. You know, it's Duress. It's a workhorse. Some number of them are probably always going to appear in black sideboards in formats where it's available. 2 go blanks. This is really a nod to the Mirror, be that, you know, Mono Black or the Orzhov, any of these versions, because we are playing out of our graveyard. Those are real attrition-based matches. They're really grindy, so slapping 2 cards out of your opponent's hand can be a really big play, and then taking everything out of the graveyard is really nice as well. I've found, surprisingly, this has some pretty good play against other decks as well, because there is a lot of flashback and disturb cards in the format. I think every deck that should be playing some way to interact with the opponent's graveyard. We've gone with go blank, honestly, because I was playing a similar deck list before and I got destroyed by this card, so I just threw it in there. This could be other things, but there is that Rotten Reunion, but I think this is probably the best option in black. And we've got 2 more Meathook Massacres. It's a really good card. It's good in mid-range matchups. It's good in aggro matchups. It's great in aggro matchups. It's even decent in control matchups, because when they kill your creatures, you can get triggers and we bring our creatures back. You know, every time a Skyclave Shade dies, they lose a life. You bring it back the next turn, they lose another life if they kill it, run them out of cards. You know, seems to fit the deck strategy. I have had a fantastic run with this deck off camera. I've played a few games, like just making sure it was worth sharing with you guys. I have not dropped a game so far in my off-camera matches, so we'll see how my luck holds up now with you guys, and let's shuffle up and get on into some games. We will of course take the play. Hand seems reasonable. Seems very reasonable. Lead on the Ghast. iTwitch is obviously the better attacker, but in the chance it gets removed or I want to block something, obviously the Ghast is much better in either of those scenarios. And I think we just play this out as a 2-2, get some more pressure on the board, particularly seeing blue mana. It's likely to be a slightly dirtlier deck. Blue-white. Blue-white control. Yep, okay. So, do I play a Skullport Merchant into what could be a Doomscar? I have a backup Skullport Merchant. I think there are worse things to do. And I mean, if this deck can do one thing, it is grind, so I feel like this is an acceptable play. Opponent just foretell tribal over there. I'll play out the iTwitch, but I'm going to hold up everything else at the moment, because there is likely a board wipe coming. So I can now play my adversary. And I was going to say kick it, but it's not kicker. I think our Theric 6 described it as punching. Punch it. Which seems funny. I think we just stay like this and threaten lethal next turn. I didn't want to activate Hive of the Eye Tyrant because I felt like they were probably holding up some sort of interaction, but now that I've seen Memory Deluge, I kind of regret that. I could have had them on 4 here. This is still threatening lethal next turn with an activation of the Hive. So they do need to find something. Okay. I'm just going to cash this in for a card. And I am just going to activate the Hive here. Attack everything. Get rid of the Deluge. Feels good. That feels very good. Pro tip, try to have some graveyard interaction in your decks, because our flashback is very good. I think you do need to block the 3/3. Interesting that they choose to block like this. Why would you not? Oh, the 3/3 has Menace, of course. I mean, does it really matter? I understand not wanting to kill the Shambling Ghast, to be fair. There's the Doomscar. It's an easy mascot exhibition. This is an easy punch in the face with Faceless Haven. Sure. Slap down an adversary. We don't get the tokens, but it is just another body on the battlefield. So at this point we do need to be a little more mindful. Okay, Epiphany. So the game is well, even though our opponent is on 3, the game is well and truly afoot at this point. So this requires a lot.
This is a serious situation. We can still have.
Yep. So we could see a counter spell here. I'm still just going to go for this. It's the thing in our hand that they know about. Sure. No attacks because they can start attacking with the Hall of Storm Giants. Unfortunately, this Teferi is going to keep gaining them life. So, yeah, unfortunately, we are losing control of this game with every passing moment. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. Still too early to throw in the towel, definitely.
Second here, a second there. Who's counting?
Again, I assume this gets countered. But we do need to just fight through their counter spells at this point. Sure. Mordenkainen. Ouch.
Maintaining balance requires insight.
Nothing but big hitters.
Don't worry. Only a little mischief.
One assumes they will run out of counter spells eventually. It's definitely not guaranteed by any means, but that's what I'm aiming for at this point. Here comes the good boy.
I can create your doom in dog form.
It's a nice top deck for them. Untap with Teferi.
Really should have seen that.
No, okay, they go for the ultimate, but they do get to untap anyway. We'll play this for one, try to kill off the birds. Sure. For those of you watching at home, I feel like there's who aren't following along. The reason I'm not attacking with the adversary, if you haven't followed up to that point, there's not really much point because they've got an army of blockers and they do have a few very big things they can swing back with in Hall of Storm Giants and now the doggo as well. There's the Hall. Try this again. Okay, look, at this point, I think this game is out of reach for us. So, you know, we'll just move on. Do I want the Blood Chief's Thirst to potentially answer Planeswalkers? But the Infernal Grasp answers the Manlands. It's a tricky one. Probably. I probably do. What else do I cut? I don't think the adversaries are actually all that good here, so I think I can cut them. I want the Duress is good for targeted discard. Go blank can just be handy as well for the discard. Skyclave Shades, obviously a very resilient threat. Sure. Bloodchief's Thirst, as discussed, can hit planeswalkers. That's a shame, we got so close there. So painfully close. Nothing really to do this turn either, which kind of feels bad. I could Bloodchief's Thirst my own Eye Twitch to get an Environmental Sciences and cast it, but that seems like a fairly suboptimal use of our resources. Why didn't you take 3 there? Sunset Revelry, sure. So they'll gain 4 life, they'll get humans, they will not draw a card. Sure. What a card. What a card. I am happy with that exchange. Surprised they didn't chump the Haven. Field of Ruin of their own, sure. Well, this isn't how I like to lose my first game, by not drawing lands. I've played 3 or 4. I'm not casting anything. It just seems like a good habit to remind myself to do. I've played 3 or 4. I think it's 3. It's just that the games go very long. Games with this deck so far, and I've yet to lose a match. So this will be a frustrating way to get my first loss with the deck. If that's what happens here. Just, you know, not hitting lands. I will pick up an Environmental Sciences here. Okay, we do draw the lands, so I can try to slam down a Professor Onyx, but I don't think there's a very good chance of that resolving. I'm reasonably happy to get in some chip damage and hold up a Soul Shatter against a potential Teferi or Mordenkainen. It's definitely not a winning strategy, but it's about the best thing I can do at the moment. Green screen's playing up a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, that's a little bit better. Card's so good. It's such a beating. So something I did expect when I built this deck is that it wouldn't do too well against classic control decks. I don't have enough heavy discard in my sideboard to really target those matchups like this. Malevolent Hermit, sure. I mean, I'm not playing counterspells. Obviously, drawing some of my Skyclave shades would have been really tasty and quite helpful up to this point. But yeah, I just don't know how good these sorts of matchups will be in general. I think we'll actually be better against blue-black control than blue-white. That's sort of my gut feeling. Because I feel like the black-based control relies a little more heavily on targeted removal. Go for this. Could get blown out by a counterspell here, but I can't imagine they actually do that. Argument that I should have taken Confront the Past there as well. But hopefully we'll be able to draw that in a future. Let's play the one they know about. Maybe they counter this, maybe they Doomscar. Either way, they've got answers, but yeah, I'm happy to get a counter out of their hand with that. Imrith, sure, we can Soul Shatter that. That's an easy Soul Shatter. Fairly happy for that to get countered. Okay, so I have access to 8 mana. If I spend 3, I've got 5 left and I can't really do anything. So I think we go for Onyx. Maybe this gets countered. Yep. But next turn we can try for Blood on the Snow, bring her back. Had she resolved, obviously I would have minus to get them to sacrifice Imrith. I really should have Soul Shattered before then. That's a big ol' oops. That is a big ol' oops. I'm going to do this now to try to get rid of Imrith. Wonderful.
Don't worry. I face scarier villains.
Yeah, I didn't realize I had enough mana to do all of that. So next turn we try to Blood on the Snow again. Kill off Teferi, bring back Onyx. Because now they can just sacrifice this to counter it as well. But I do have the mana to pay, so that seems fine. We haven't drawn very well this game. We really haven't, we haven't got any of our sideboard cards. We haven't really drawn...
Only time will tell.
We haven't drawn any of our cards that are actually good in this matchup. Yeah, I'll take a Skyclave Shade. Ah, that's actually so silly. I should have milled that into my graveyard because I could have played it out of there at any time. That's a misplay on my part. I probably should have taken the Skullport Merchant. Ah, well. Mordenkainen, sure. I can try to get rid of him with Blood on the Snow as well if I want to. And again, get Onyx back, but I think I'd rather just try to attack it down with the Shade. Obviously, my Shade can't block, so Onyx takes 2. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana held up. Draw a card here. Go blank or Field of Ruin. They did just top a Hall of Storm Giants, but they've also only got 2 cards in hand. I can't help myself. I'm a filthy discard player at heart.
Let's go digging.
Do you not know who I am?
I'm sure this will get countered and I'll be sad. No. Okay, wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Sure, Hall of Storm Giants. Attack Onyx. Attack with both, surely. Yep. Okay, only with one. I'll take a chump here. It's a little unfortunate because the manlands are some of my best attackers in this matchup, but what do you do? I'm so surprised they let that go blank resolved. They had like a couple of deluges there. They had a hermit as well, I think.
To control, one must first know.
That seems quite bizarre to me.
I have impeccable study habits.
Actually kind of want them to block this so I can bring it back. No such luck. I'm even tempted to hold the land here in case they do find a way to get rid of it, but that's probably a bit silly. I think I just say, your go. This is a memory deluge. Called it. Yeah, I think I just say your go. If they spend most of another turn activating Storm Giants to attack Onyx, that's not the worst outcome in the world for me, particularly when I can just bring her back with Blood on the Snow. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I get to draw a card. Kind of the opposite of what you want in this sort of matchup. Means like they can just attack in with the Hall. I'm going to activate this now. We'd love to hit some sort of instant speed removal, but we do not. We did unfortunately side out our Infernal Grasps. But are we just dead? 7 plus 2 for 6. Yeah, we're just dead here. Okay, well, let's move on with our lives. First loss for the deck. It's a little bit sad, but it's the first loss. Yeah, so that was game 4. 3 wins, 1 loss so far. Oh well. Oop. Forgot to hit record, but we're on the draw. We kept our hand, and that's about where we're at with this game so far. Wonder what they're holding. Yep, some sort of burn. Makes sense. So is it just mono red burn and they haven't hit any creatures in their opening hand? Interesting, interesting. So this could be a fetch an environmental sciences to buffer my life total. Yes, easy wins. Easy wins. Take out the graveyard for adversary is what I'm thinking there. You know, the bloodthirsty adversary. You know the one. I don't think Duress has enough upside. I could be wrong. Let me know what you would do about Duress against Burn, but yeah, I don't think it has enough upside. As I said, Go Blank will get a couple of cards out of their hand at least. Hand's way too slow. This is better. Yeah, we'll at least get a couple of cards out of their hand. And also exiles their graveyard for anything with flashback or, as I said, bloodthirsty. Bloody boy. Oh, okay, it's a Rakdos deck. It's not the deck I imagined. Dang, yo. And me with no removal to get rid of it. Stay back on defense here. I can double block the Valky if it comes to that. Just holds infinite priority, that card. Yep. This might incentivize them to attack. That should definitely incentivize them to attack. We'll take out one of their man lands now while we're not doing anything else with our mana this turn. Why is that? Oops. Why would that be an oops?
I'll show you what happens when the spiders squash them. I will not cry like a meek little...
And I, the general.
Let's hang back on defense here. Obviously, we really need to find something better than a land. Whenever you're ready there, buddy. Sure. I'm glad you thought that through. Wouldn't want to rush into it. And get necrotic fumes this way. Although, I'd rather deadly dispute it, to be honest. It does seem a little bit better. Except that now it has trample. Damn. Yeah, that was... See, that was an oops. This is where my opponent could say oops to me. Get back there, play with fire. Get through for a stack of damage. Yep. Gonna take 10 here, which sucks, but there's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. We get a bit of life back from our massacre. Play this down just as a blocker. Bloody Valky. Only time I've seen him be good, and of course it's against me. Typical. Alright, what you got there, Zombify? Yep. Can't block that because it has Menace. You also get to get their grubby little meat hooks into my graveyard, get rid of my Lolth. Called it. Did not mean to attack with the adversary. Damn. That was a costly mistake. So I don't think I do want the Go Blanks then, knowing that it's just a sort of Rakdos-y mid-range deck. Do I want Skyclave Shade? I don't think so. Probably better off with some Blood Chief's Thirst. Alright, let's just try like this. And seems reasonable. Shambling Ghast into Deadly Dispute's always nice. Failing that, couple of Skullport Merchants to back it up. Could get punished for the attack by a bloodthirsty adversary hasting in, but it's a very small punish. Very small indeed. Gonna kill it? Sure. That's fine, man. Hey, Ghast out. Happy to use one of my treasures to have some kind of board presence. Yep. Play that tapped. We're using 3 mana for the merchant anyway here. Seems reasonable. Can block the Stormseeker quite nicely. Sure. Yep. So they can pump up one big enough to attack through. Come on. 2 + 2 is 4. The maths is not hard here. Let's pick up the pace. Move it along. Oh, not what I meant to do. clean them both up and we'll get our merchant back. Which also replaces the treasure we just spent. Seems nice. Got Lolth next turn. Didn't want to play it there because the tokens... It's just all not going to line up super well. Okay, so there could be a Goldspan Dragon deck. Yeah, Seeker Lane, I think Goldspan Dragon. They could always have been a Goldspan Dragon deck, obviously.
You could have such power, but you are too weak to take it.
Yep, you've got to play with fire. It's very easy to cast it on my Lolth and does not require much thought. Any second now. They found it. They found the line. It was Dragon's Fire. Ooh. No wonder they had to think about it so much. Okay. Yep. You got it. You got it, buddy. Attack. No attack. Some attack. Both attack. I take one. Ow. Sure. Got a nice clean answer for that in hand. Of course, we let them attack first. See what they want to do. Do they have another one? I don't have a nice clean answer to a second one. A little bit tilting, to be honest. Sad. Also rude. Just get rid of this. All the mana in the world and nothing to do with it. Another painter, sure. So like really, like actually at some point I need to top deck something useful. I do in fact play some powerful cards in my deck. They are in there. Just need to find some. Just need to find some. 9 mana, nothing to do with it. They're going to take Loth. Yep. Respectable. Get rid of this hive. I'll take a mascot exhibition. I'm going to play this because, again, it's the card that they've seen. I'd rather keep this concealed. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. Something like that. I have no idea what that's a reference to. I just keep hearing it. Alright, Zombify. Come on. What you got, mate? Another Kalane? Sure. This one's a 2-3. Dope. Love it. Play of the game right there. Absolute poggies. Will they block? Won't they block? I swear some people just deliberately take their time just to like ruin the content. That's really what it feels like sometimes. Really what it feels like. Feels malicious, intentional. What you got? What you got? Why do people play like this though? Like, the game hasn't shaken out the way you want it to. I understand. But, like, respect your own time and the other person's. I mean, I'm not even saying this game is necessarily over, but, like, obviously they don't want to be stuck on 4 lands. Like, I haven't wanted to be mana screwed in my games either, but I haven't just dilly-dallied because of it. You know, sometimes the game doesn't go the way you want, but you can still just play through it or choose to give up and move on to the next one. Like, there's no need to waste your own time and the opponent's. Like, I really don't understand this phenomenon at all. Like, I understand, like, being angry and, like, just wanting to step away, but just, like, concede. Like, I don't not get rank because you walk away. I'm just going to go into the next game and have forgotten that this happened. Like, what value does it give to the person doing that?